Elon Musk is continuing his crusade against anyone who's against Tesla, and the threshold now for who he thinks needs to be locked up by the state over expressing themselves in ways that he doesn't like has never been lower. The latest is when a video circulated showing a woman pointing and yelling at a driver of a Cybertruck. We can't play you the video, but in it, the man yells after the woman points her finger at him. He yells, "Get off my effing car. You touch that S again and I'll break your effing fingers." "Okay, come on," the woman shouts, "bring it on." Another woman called the driver a Nazi while a nearby crowd chanted shame. So to be clear, at least in that, he threatens violence. She says, "bring it on," which I've heard is what patriots yell or whatever. In any event, he drives away and there's a lot of protests. You can see in the shot, there's protesters on the side of the road. Okay, so she pointed, said, "Yeah, bring it on," and someone else calls him a Nazi, and all that's very, very threatening for very sensitive little boys. Unfortunately for us, Elon Musk is one of those because he retweeted that video. So he saw it, he knows all the context, what was done and said and what wasn't done and wasn't said, and says, it's time to arrest those funding the attack. Arresting their puppets and paid foot soldiers won't stop the violence. The violence, huh? The violence. Oh, sorry, I might break the camera. JR, duck. I don't want to accidentally catch someone in the audience by pointing.
That hurt.
Or calling someone a name. Perish the thought, JR. That's violence. Now that's terrorism. I'm doing a terrorism. And by the way, I love him talking about paid foot soldiers, fresh off of him handing out $1 million checks for supporting him. Just gonna point that out. So anyway, and by the way, if it's not just the puppets and foot soldiers that need to be stopped, it's those who inspire things just by speaking, then Elon Musk needs to be locked up 1,000 times over because he's inspired all sorts of insanity. So again, I don't have that restrictive view of free speech. Unfortunately, Elon Musk does, and I think it would be an important, symbol of his commitment to restricting speech for him to willingly lock himself up. I think that would be powerful and it needs to be done. But anyway, yeah, burning a car, shooting a car, obviously you get arrested for that, but now pointing at it. You point at someone in a Cybertruck and you should probably go to jail. None of this is positive, I think, for Elon Musk. None of it's popular for Tesla. And by the way, they're preparing for their Q1 numbers, sales numbers to come out. And a lot of people are predicting that it is not going to be good. So we'll see. But European sales data has already been rolling in and that's down. We've seen some earlier numbers in US and China that were down. Estimates vary, but point to a decline compared to Q1 of last year. They had delivered a little bit less than 400,000 vehicles then. Some people believe that's gonna drop by maybe as much as 10% or whatever. And generally, I think that's what shareholders want. They want year over year growth to be negative 10% consistently year after year, I think. Notably, I'm really bad at the stock market, JR, what do you think?
Yeah, as you point out, this is where violence comes. By the way, talk about inspiring violence and attacks. There was these like a couple thousand folks who ran up on the Capitol on January 6th. And there was this guy who inspired them. It's really weird how that works. In fact, there was people who were there who said that he inspired them. It's also crazy how that also works. But again, as fascists talk, who they deem inspiring violence, who they deem are the foot soldiers in the streets with zip ties, with guns, and with intentions and chants of who they're gonna murder. Those aren't the terrorists. No, those are not the foot soldiers. Just the people that they deem those foot soldiers. Also, number two, John, really fast. Brian Kilmeade told me before that Elon Musk cares about the country so much he sleeps on a cot in the middle of some office that he kicked someone out of because he works so hard on fighting waste, fraud, and abuse in all of our agencies in our federal government. It's weird how he has time to pay attention to one woman who's pointing inside of a Cybertruck at some driver driving by enough to go and post about how she should be arrested and the people who organized it also need to be arrested. When is this guy gonna get to work? When's this lazy bastard gonna finally get to work? I thought he can't stop working. I thought he's a genius who can't stop working for the American people. Get to work. Get to work, you lazy immigrant. Get to work.
Oh my God. JR is fired up today. Well, by the way, we're gonna have more on this tomorrow.
Sorry, I didn't reel it in yet, did I?
No, you said you were going to, you didn't, but that's okay, we love it. So tomorrow, we're gonna focus on one area of sales numbers that we do actually know. I think it is time that we talk a little bit about the Cybertruck. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. I believe Jackson White is gonna be on the show. Yes, Jackson White's gonna be joining us. We'll be talking about that.
Jackson's worse than I am.
Oh yeah, no, it's only going to get more amped up from here. But Musk isn't the only one facing protests, and he's certainly not the only one crying about them. Let's turn now to this. Donald Trump and his co-president there have been gradually expanding the definition of unacceptable speech, politically incorrect speech, and raising the consequences for it. Now, basically anything you do that they don't get off on is effectively violence and probably terrorism. And so we're seeing a lot of that. In fact, he is demanding that those who vandalized his golf course in Scotland be treated harshly, and he has himself referred to them as terrorists because, as you'll see in this image, they spray painted some stone, probably with a dirty bomb, I'd guess. And then they did this to near one of the greens. It says Gaza is not for sale. I think that's written in yellow cake. I think so, yes, I guess terrorism makes sense in this particular case. But anyway, a 33-year-old man has been charged in connection with the incident, is due to appear in court today. A 75-year-old man and a 67-year-old woman have also been arrested. They've been released pending further inquiry. So it's a couple of individuals who were fired up. I don't know if you've seen Braveheart, but the people of Scotland don't mess around with tyrants, historically. And so they acted out in a way that they're probably gonna get in trouble for. I don't know if that makes them terrorists though. But yeah, Donald Trump is encouraging terrible things to be done. He says they caught the terrorists who attacked the beautiful Turnberry in Scotland. They did serious damage. Did they? I mean, they spray painted it. I'm not saying it's good and you don't do that, but like, it's not a crater. Like you can still play golf on it. Like you literally don't have to stop playing golf. How bad could it possibly be? And in response to this, Palestine Action released a statement which says, while Trump whines about his golf course and Starmer consoles him, US supplied bombs continue to pound Gaza to rubble with the aim of the destruction of the entire Palestinian population. We look forward to the day both these murderers and the other complicit Western leaders face justice. Yes, the man of the people, the populace, the everyman's worried about his greens. It looks like a prairie dog chewed on it a little bit. Meanwhile, they're murdering people every single day, and they plan in the near future to ethnically cleanse the entire region, steal all the territory, deport people to go die somewhere in a hidden slum. You'll never hear from them again. But you should really worry about the quality of their greens, JR.
Terrorists. So they're terrorists for tagging this place, for writing something on the ground. I thought these are like the strong people of the world. Aren't these the superior people? I thought these folks are strong. I thought they know how to really control the world, and they're the ones who are deemed the great ones, the minds, the geniuses of us. But they can't take someone writing on it, on a wall. Oh man, oh my God. By the way, what's that gonna do? What's that gonna do? I mean, who shows up at these places? Poor folks. Who gets to golf at these places? Who can afford to do any of these leisurely activities there? The kinds of people who kind of don't give a damn whether or not someone who doesn't have as much will tag the place. They can get fixed up in a couple minutes. Is it terrorism when tagging happens in other parts of our country? This isn't even our country. So again, what is it about American laws and American opinions that have anything to do with what happens in other countries? Now, our standards, which these MAGA standards are things that are supposed to be adopted in other countries. And then we take it and just spread it to them as well. There's this, remember there's all these talk about these globalists want to have this one world government where they control everything and tell us how to be. Isn't it weird how that seems to be what they want to do? It's kind of odd how that works, that all the things they keep saying are nefarious about the people that they hate are exactly what they're doing, but we can't recognize it right in front of our faces.
I'm gonna put together a working group to investigate what seems to be the initial signs of hypocrisy on the right.